soft thunk of a pit on a wooden board, the faint clank of a jar lid. Tonight we'll coax 3 small comforts from a single avocado pit. Stay with me for a low-waste kitchen ritual that smells like warm toast and feels like a tiny act of care.
Welcome back to Earthy Remedy. I'm Fiona. In this episode, we'll rescue 1 avocado pit into 3 kitchen-friendly rituals: a toasted pit powder to finish bowls, a small jar of cuticle oil for nightly nail care, and a silky, well-strained hand mask you can use as a short sensory pause. The full recipe card and a safety checklist are in the show notes, so you can follow along. If you like gentle, practical crafts from the pantry, consider subscribing. It helps us keep these tiny rituals coming.
Let's start with a small problem many of us know: the avocado pit. It's dense, a little mysterious, and most of the time it's destined for the compost or the bin. I used to toss them without a second thought, feeling that small pinch of waste every time. Maybe you do the same. I want to invite you to look at that pit differently, not as a miracle cure, but as a little source of texture, aroma, and a tiny ritual. Here's why that matters. These small rituals change how you move through the kitchen. They slow you down, invite curiosity, and keep a little less out of the trash. We're not promising overnight transformation. We're offering a repeatable practice you can actually finish tonight. Now, a little plain science and tradition in simple terms. The avocado pit is mostly starch with some tannins and mild aromatic notes. The outer surface holds astringent compounds. That's why you'll sometimes notice a dry, slightly bitter edge if it's not handled right. The interesting part is when we dry and toast it lightly. Toast softens those astringent edges, brings a warm, nutty aroma, and adds texture. The research shows that toasted seed powders and nut flours are long-standing culinary techniques across many cultures. Think toasted sesame, ground sunflower seed dusts. An avocado pit can be used in a similar small external role when done carefully. Let's be clear about boundaries. This episode frames all uses as cosmetic or as a tiny finishing dust. We do not recommend ingestion. Avocado pits are not well studied for internal use, and that's not what we're doing here. Also, a calm caution. Some people have latex avocado cross-reactivity or contact sensitivity. If you know you have an avocado or latex allergy, skip these topicals. If you're pregnant, nursing, or managing a medical condition, treat this as a gentle, sensory craft and check with a trusted provider before adding new topicals. We'll go into a mandatory patch test later. Who is this for tonight? This is for the plant curious, the slow-living listeners who enjoy small beauty rituals and low-waste kitchen crafts. It's beginner-friendly. It's not for anyone with known avocado sensitivity, anyone who prefers not to experiment on skin, or anyone who might accidentally ingest homemade kitchen powders. If that sounds like you, adapt or skip. This practice should feel safe and doable. Quick overview of yields so you know what to expect. From 1 medium avocado pit, you can expect roughly 2 to 3 tablespoons of toasted pit powder, enough toasted pit to infuse about 20 to 30 milliliters of cuticle oil in a small jar, and a single 1 to 2 tablespoon serving for a silky hand mask, perfect for a one-time ritual or a night of self-care. Before we gather tools, a quick safety list. We will dry fully before grinding. Toast only on low heat for aroma. Work in a ventilated area to avoid dust. Pulse grind briefly to reduce airborne particles. Wear a light mask if you're sensitive to dust. And always do a 24-hour skin patch test on the inner forearm before using any topical. If you see redness, itching, swelling, stop and wash the area and do not proceed. Label all jars with the date and refrigerate oils promptly. Those are the main guardrails. Okay, ingredients. I'll read these slowly. You can jot them down or pull them into your kitchen. Full ingredient details are in the show notes. For the toasted pit powder, 1 avocado pit, cleaned and split, thinly sliced or grated to speed drying. Optional pinch of fine sea salt if you'll use it as a finishing dust. Substitutions:
If you prefer a milder flavor, mix half toasted pit powder with 2 teaspoons of toasted oat flour. For the cuticle oil, 30 milliliters, about 2 tablespoons, neutral carrier oil. Sweet almond, grapeseed, or fractionated coconut oil work well, plus 1 level teaspoon of toasted pit pieces for infusion. Substitution: if you're nut sensitive, use jojoba or grapeseed. For the Silky hand mask, 1 teaspoon toasted pit powder, 1 teaspoon oat base or plain yogurt if you tolerate dairy, and 1 teaspoon of your prepared cuticle oil to make a spreadable paste. Substitutions: use ground oats or a mashed avocado flesh if you're skipping yogurt, though mashed avocado will shorten shelf life. Equipment: a small oven or warm sunny spot for drying, a small dry skillet for toasting, a fine grinder or mortar and pestle, a sieve or fine strainer, clean cheesecloth, a sterilized 20 to 30 milliliter jar with lid for the cuticle oil, a small mixing bowl, and a clean mug for the hand mask. Also keep a tiny funnel or a spoon for jarring. Now the steps. I'll number them and pause between each so you can follow along. Step 1. Clean and prepare the pit. Rinse the pit and pat it dry. Carefully halve it with a stable knife or gently pry it open with a spoon. Take your time. Then thinly slice or grate the pit so the pieces are about the thickness of a coin. Thinner pieces dry faster and toast more evenly. Step 2. Drying. Preheat your oven to a low temperature, about 90 to 110 degrees Celsius. That's roughly 200 to 225 Fahrenheit. Place the slices on a parchment-lined tray and dry for 30 to 60 minutes, turning once, until they feel light and crisp and cool completely. If you prefer a sun jar method, place slices in a warm, dry spot for several hours until crisp. The point is to remove moisture fully before toasting or grinding. Damp pieces will rancidify quickly. Step 3. Light toasting. Heat a dry skillet over low heat. Add the dried slices and stir or toss for 2 to 4 minutes, just until you notice the aroma lift and the slices take a little golden edge. Do not brown or burn them. This is about aroma, not deep roast. Toast in a well-ventilated area. If you see smoke or smell strong bitterness, remove immediately. Step 4. Grinding. Let toasted pieces cool fully. Transfer to a fine grinder or mortar and pestle. Pulse briefly, short bursts, to avoid creating a fine airborne dust. We want a light, coarse powder or small crumbs. Sift through a fine sieve to remove any larger shards. If dust bothers you, wipe surfaces afterward and consider wearing a light mask while grinding. Store the powder in a small dry jar. Use this as a tiny finishing dust, a pinch over grains, or a delicate tactile smear on a spoon for texture. Remember, do not ingest large amounts. These are culinary accents or cosmetic textures only. Step 5. Cuticle oil infusion. Measure 30 milliliters of your chosen neutral oil into a small heat-proof bowl. Add 1 level teaspoon of toasted pit pieces. Create a warm bath. Place the bowl in a small pan of gently warmed water. We're not boiling anything. And keep it at a warm temperature for 20 to 30 minutes. This gently coaxes aroma and texture into the oil. Remove, cool, then double strain through cheesecloth into a sterilized 20-30 milliliter jar. Label with the date and refrigerate promptly. Refrigerated, use within 4 to 6 weeks. If the oil turns cloudy, smells bitter, or seems off, discard. Step 6. Silky hand mask preparation. In a small bowl, mix 1 teaspoon toasted pit powder, 1 teaspoon oat base or yogurt, and 1 teaspoon of your cuticle oil. Stir until you have a smooth, spreadable paste. Apply to clean, dry hands for 3 to 5 minutes, then rinse gently with warm water. This is a sensory moment. Notice the warmth and subtle toasted aroma. Do a 24-hour patch test before trying this on redder areas. Place a little paste on your inner forearm, cover with a breathable bandage, and watch for redness or itch for 24 hours. If any reaction appears, wash and do not use topically. A few practical tips as you make these. Dry your pit pieces fully before grinding. Cool completely after toasting. Pulse grind to reduce dust. Store powder in a dry, sealed jar. It will keep up to 4 to 6 weeks if dry and kept cool. Oils must be refrigerated and used within 4 to 6 weeks. Always label jars with the date you made them. If anything smells bitter or rancid, toss it. These small windows keep your jars predictable and safe.
Let's revisit safety in plain language. Mandatory 24-hour skin patch test on the inner forearm before any topical use. Avoid use on broken or inflamed skin. If you have known avocado or latex sensitivity, do not use these topicals. We do not recommend ingesting avocado pit powder. This episode frames uses as cosmetic or tiny finishing dusts only. If you notice any sign of irritation, stop immediately and seek guidance from your healthcare provider if it persists.
Now, a short sensory pause. If you have a small piece of toasted pit or a jar nearby, bring it close and inhale gently. Take a slow breath in. Notice the warm, nutty note, faint, toasted, comforting. Place a fingertip into your cuticle oil or the hand mask and feel the texture. These are tiny, grounding gestures. They do not fix everything, but they give your hands a moment of care.
Before we close, a few creative ideas and variations. Mix a pinch of toasted pit powder into a dry scrub with sugar for an extra textural finish for hands. Again, external only. Blend the powder with toasted oat flour to soften the astringency for salon-style rubs. If you prefer no oil, make a dry paste with yogurt or honey for a single-use mask, but be mindful that perishable mixes must be discarded after a day in the fridge.
Reflection, these small rituals are about attention. Turning one kitchen scrap into a 3-part practice asks you to slow down, notice texture and scent, and make a small choice to reuse with care. You don't need perfection. You need curiosity and a few safe steps. Try rescuing one pit this week and notice how that tiny act changes your rhythm in the kitchen.
If you tried this episode's ritual, we'd love to hear from you. Send us a voice note, share a photo of your jar, or tag @EarthyRemedy wherever you like to post. And if this kind of practical, plant-wise craft feels like your kind of evening, please subscribe so you don't miss future episodes.
Thanks for sharing a little time with me and an avocado pit. Listen to your body. Trust the earth. Feel the difference. Until next time, be gentle with your hands and your kitchen scraps.